A rounder and firmer butt is considered attractive to both men and women, but it's not just about aesthetics. Strong and toned glutes improve body functionality, enhance athletic performance, and help alleviate back and hip pain. The problem? Many people perform the exercises incorrectly. Hi, I'm Alice, and in today's video, I'll tell you about the 4 best exercises for the glutes and how to execute them properly for amazing results and that firm butt. And for those of you who want a bigger butt, the last exercise on this list is a must. So stay with me until the end to find out. The first exercise is the Barbell Back Squat. The barbell squat is one of the most effective exercises for the glutes, especially the gluteus maximus. It also contributes to overall body strength. When combined with progressive overload, it helps muscle growth through 3 main factors: mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. The barbell squat works not only the glutes but also the quadriceps, hamstrings, core, and even the lower back. This holistic approach improves muscle balance, which is essential for proper glute development. The deeper the squat, the greater the activation of the glutes. Studies show that squatting until the hips drop below the knees, the so-called deep squat, generates more muscle recruitment, promoting hypertrophy and growth. This barbell exercise allows you to safely load heavy weights, stimulating muscle growth through progressive overload. This method continuously challenges the muscles, forcing them to grow and adapt. How to do it? Position the barbell on the fleshy part of your shoulders, below the neck. Keep your chest open and elbows back. Squat until your hips are below the knees, then rise with force, maintaining a straight and stable spine. For better results and to avoid injuries, here are some tips. Use an appropriate load. Choose a challenging weight, but one that allows you to maintain proper form. Prioritize depth. Squat as deep as you can comfortably to recruit the glutes to the maximum. Focus on technique. Keep your core activated, chest open, and spine neutral throughout the movement. Do quality sets. Work with repetitions between 8 and 12 for hypertrophy, focusing on weight progression. Combine with variations. Include other exercises like hip thrusts and deadlifts to ensure complete glute stimulation. Remember to do slow and controlled movements. Avoid fast descents, which can cause instability and increase the risk of knee or spine injuries. And when you're a bit more advanced, include this airy, explosive technique on the way up. Push up with force but without losing control, ensuring that the movement is fluid. This technique will boost your results. An alternative to the barbell squat if you're a beginner is the hack squat. The hack squat is ideal for beginners because it places less load on the spine and allows you to train safely until muscle failure. It targets the quadriceps, but the glutes are also activated, especially in the reverse hack squat, which intensifies the work on the glutes and hamstrings. The idea is the same as the barbell squat, but with greater safety for beginners who lack control in the movement. It's also a lighter exercise compared to the barbell squat, but it's still very effective. Another alternative, and one I prefer, is the Smith machine squat. I listed the hack squat as an alternative because I know many gyms don't have the Smith machine squat. So if your gym has one and you're a beginner, start with this. The Smith machine squat is an accessible and effective option for working the glutes, offering more stability than the free squat. Make sure to position your feet slightly in front of your body, keep the movements controlled, and perform the squat through its full range of motion. It will be the same movement, but with more safety until you gain enough control to move on to the free squat. But it's a great option too. Let's move on to the second exercise on our list. Bulgarian Split Squat. The Bulgarian Split Squat combines the benefits of squats and lunges, working both the gluteus maximus and minimus unilaterally. By slightly leaning the torso forward, you increase glute activation, making the exercise even more effective. The Bulgarian Split Squat is excellent because it is a unilateral exercise, meaning it works one leg at a time. This increases muscle activation in the glutes by reducing the reliance on adjacent muscles such as the quadriceps of the opposite leg. This also corrects muscle imbalances, ensuring that both legs and glutes develop evenly. With it, you can achieve a greater range of motion. The elevated position of the supporting foot, usually on a bench or step, allows for a greater stretch of the glutes during the descent. This stretch creates more tension in the muscle, which is essential for hypertrophy. This increased range of motion provides a more intense stimulus to the glutes compared to other exercises like the traditional squat. This exercise stimulates stability and strength. As it is a balanced, demanding exercise, the Bulgarian Split Squat recruits stabilizer muscles in the core and hips, including the gluteus medius. This strengthens the area comprehensively, contributing to rounder and better developed glutes. To execute correctly, keep your hips aligned, lower yourself until the front thigh is parallel to the floor, and focus the weight on the heel of the front foot to reduce quadriceps involvement. Step-by-step guide. Yetați. First, choose the support. Stand facing the bench or support. Align yourself correctly. Place one foot on the bench with the top of the foot supported. The front leg should be about 60 to 90 centimeters in front of the bench. The exact distance depends on your comfort and mobility. Adjust your posture. Torso. Keep your torso slightly leaning forward to activate the glutes more, but don't overdo it. Feet. The front foot should be fully grounded with the weight concentrated on the heel. Gaze. Keep your gaze forward for stability. Control the descent. Start the movement. Bend the knee of the front leg, keeping the weight on the heel. At the same time, lower the hips towards the ground. Range of motion. Lower yourself until the front thigh is parallel to the floor or slightly below. The back knee should approach the ground but not touch it. Explode upward. Push through the heel of the front foot to return to the starting position. Focus on contracting the glutes as you rise. 5. Repeat on the other side. After completing the repetitions on one leg, switch to the other leg and repeat. Napa. Some tips for perfect execution. 1. Correct distance from the bench. If the bench is too close, you'll feel discomfort in the knee of the front leg. If it's too far, you'll lose balance. 2. Control the movement. Move slowly, especially during the descent, to increase time under tension. 3. Torso posture. Slightly lean forward but keep your back straight. Avoid arching your back. 4. Focus point. Concentrate on pushing through the heel of the front foot to activate the glutes. 5. Progressive loading. Start with body weight to master the technique. Then add dumbbells, kettlebells, or a barbell to increase intensity. The next exercise on our list is the Romanian Deadlift. The Romanian Deadlift, RDL, is one of the most effective exercises for glute growth, especially targeting the gluteus maximus and hamstrings due to its focus on the hip hinge movement. Proper execution of the RDL intensely activates the posterior chain of the body with a particular emphasis on the glutes. Here are some reasons why it is so effective. Eccentric phase stretching. During the descent, the RDL creates a strong eccentric contraction, meaning the muscles are stretched while resisting the weight. This type of contraction is extremely effective for muscle growth hypertrophy, as it forces the muscle fibers to lengthen while still working, increasing muscle damage and promoting recovery and growth. Increased activation of the gluteus maximus and medius. Electromyography (EMG) studies show that the RDL intensely activates the gluteus maximus more than squats and other compound exercises. The hip hinge movement places the glutes in a deep stretch, which maximizes their activation during execution. Core activation. As the movement requires you to maintain proper posture during both the descent and ascent, the RDL also engages the core, which benefits overall stability and body strength. Proper execution of the RDL is crucial to maximize results and avoid injury. Here's the step-by-step guide for correct execution. Stand with your feet hip-width apart and the barbell in front of you at shin height. Grip the bar with palms facing your body, overhand grip, slightly wider than shoulder width. Keep your shoulders retracted, no arching your back, and your arms extended toward the floor. Maintain a neutral spine and an open chest, ensuring the lower back is not rounded. Step 2. Descent, hip hinge movement. Bend at the hips and push your hips back, keeping your spine neutral without rounding the back. Imagine you're trying to close your hips like a door, hip hinge movement. During the descent, your knees should be slightly bent, but the main bend should come from the hips. The glutes should be the primary muscle responsible for moving your body forward and down. The bar should lower to shin height or slightly below the knees depending on your flexibility. Avoid rounding your back as this can cause injury. To return to the starting position, contract your glutes and push your hips forward, keeping the bar close to your body. As you rise, keep your spine neutral and avoid arching your back. The movement should be controlled, not jerky. When you reach the standing position, squeeze your glutes at the top of the movement. Important tips for correct execution. Posture. Always keep your back straight and shoulders pulled back. The movement should be centered on the hips, not the knees. Range of motion. Go as low as your flexibility allows without compromising posture. It's more effective to perform the movement with controlled range than to try to go too deep and risk improper form. Knee care. Avoid letting the knees move forward beyond the toes. They should remain stable throughout the movement. Breathing. Inhale while descending and exhale while ascending when you overcome the resistance of the bar. Progression. To achieve the best results with the RDL, start with a moderate load and focus on perfecting the technique. Load progression is important, but it should be done gradually to avoid injury. Always prioritize flawless execution before increasing weight. The Romanian deadlift is an excellent choice for those looking to increase glute size and strength, as well as improve posture and overall body stability. The final exercise on our list to help you get that big booty is a must-have in your workout routine. This exercise is the best for growing the glutes. It is hip thrust. Hip thrusts are essential for anyone looking to achieve larger, firmer glutes. This exercise primarily targets the gluteus maximus and can be performed using a barbell, dumbbells, or resistance bands. Studies show that the hip thrust recruits more gluteus maximus fibers than other exercises like squats or deadlifts because its horizontal position and focus on hip extension create the ideal conditions to activate and intensely work the glutes. Why hip thrusts are effective? Better range of motion. The hip thrust allows for a greater stretch and contraction of the glutes, maximizing muscle stimulus and promoting hypertrophy. Direct focus on glutes. Unlike other compound exercises, the hip thrust primarily targets the glutes, with minimal involvement of other muscle groups, ensuring a more isolated and efficient workout. Versatile loading and progression. You can use barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, or resistance bands to adjust and progress as your strength increases. Improves hip function and stability. Strong glutes improve hip extension and stability, which is crucial for preventing lower back, knee, and hip pain. Enhances performance in other activities. The hip thrust strengthens the posterior chain, benefiting movements like running, squatting, and jumping. It also improves posture and reduces the risk of injuries. Step-by-step guide to perform the hip thrust correctly. The hip thrust is a simple exercise but requires attention to technique for effectiveness and injury prevention. Follow this detailed guide. Prepare the equipment bench or platform. Use a stable and firm bench high enough for your scapulae to be supported without compromising posture. Barbell. If using weight, select an appropriate barbell and preferably use a cushion or pad to protect your hips. Position the back. Position the lower part of your scapula, mid-back, at the edge of the bench or platform. Keep the upper back in contact with the bench throughout the exercise. Foot position. Place your feet flat on the ground, aligned with your hip width. Ensure your feet are close enough so that your shins are perpendicular to the floor at the top of the movement. Place the barbell. Position the barbell over your hips, directly aligned with the pelvic bone. Use your hands to stabilize the bar during the movement. Execution of the movement. Engage the core and glutes. Before starting, lightly contract your abs and glutes to stabilize the torso. Lower the hips. Slowly lower the hips toward the ground while keeping the feet firm and maintaining a neutral spine. Note, avoid arching the lower back or allowing the scapulae to leave the bench. Raise the hips. Push your hips upwards explosively, pressing your heels into the floor. Ensure the knees remain aligned with the feet, avoiding any inward or outward movement. Contract at the top. At the peak of the movement, your hips should be fully extended, forming a straight line from knees to shoulders. Pause for 1 to 2 seconds, contracting the glutes as much as possible. Lower slowly. Return to the starting position with control, maintaining tension in the glutes throughout the descent. Technique tips for better execution controlled movement. Avoid rushing the exercise. Control is essential to efficiently activate the glutes. proper breathing. Inhale as you lower your hips and exhale as you push them upwards, especially at the peak of contraction. Focus on glutes. Concentrate on using the glutes to lift the weight, avoiding excessive use of the lower back or thighs. Common mistakes and how to avoid them: incorrect shin angle. If your feet are too close or too far apart, your shins won't be perpendicular at the top, reducing glute activation. Adjust your foot position. Lower back. Arching. Arching your lower back can cause pain or injury. Engage the core and keep your back neutral. Incomplete extension. Not raising your hips fully reduces the range of motion. Ensure hips are fully extended at the top. Unstable barbell. Not stabilizing the bar can cause it to shift. Hold the bar firmly in place. Tips to maximize muscle growth: correct positioning. Ensure your back is supported on a bench with the edge aligned with your scapulae. Foot placement: position your feet at hip width apart and close enough so that your shins are perpendicular to the floor at the top. Maximum contraction at the top. Pause for 1 to 2 seconds at the top of the movement, fully contracting the glutes. Control the descent. Lower your hips slowly and with control, keeping tension on the glutes. Progressive overload. Gradually increase the weight as your glutes grow stronger using progressive overload. These exercises are strategically designed to maximize glute development. And that's what you'll learn in our weight loss masterclass. In our course, you'll learn how to achieve a sustainable body transformation without relying on miracle pills or fad diets. Everything is based on scientific research and developed by experts. I'll leave the link in the description for you to sign up. Hurry, spots are limited. Remember that in addition to training, you need to align a few key factors for the best results. Eating: consume proteins, healthy fats, and carbohydrates to fuel your body. Hydration: stay hydrated before, during, and after workouts. Consistency: stick to a regular routine. Frequent, moderate workouts are more effective than intense, sporadic sessions. Rest: respect your body's limits and invest in active recovery, such as light walking, yoga, or stretching on rest days. By following these principles, you'll soon achieve that big booty. That's it for today's video. Hope it helped. Watch the video popping up on the card about how to reduce body fat percentage. It'll help you a lot.